Forever Friends, the tale of Terry and the Willowbrook child ghost. Once upon a chilling autumn night in the quiet town of Willowbrook, a quaint little community nestled amidst dense woods, there lived a child named Terry. Terry was a bright and curious boy of 12, with a mop of unruly brown hair and eyes that sparkled with mischief. He resided in a centuries-old, ivy-covered cottage, which had been passed down through his family for generations. The cottage, with its creaking floors and antique furnishings, had always held a certain mystique. Terry had always been drawn to the strange stories his grandmother, Mrs. Eleanor, would tell him. She had a knack for weaving tales about the supernatural, often involving the eerie history of their cottage. Terry would sit wide-eyed, listening to her tales of ghostly apparitions and strange happenings in the house. One particularly cold evening, as the wind howled through the trees and the old windows rattled, Terry's grandmother revealed a story she had never shared before. She told Terry about the legend of the Willowbrook child ghost. According to her, the ghost of a young boy named Samuel, who had lived in the cottage many decades ago, was said to wander the premises. Samuel's spirit was said to be trapped in the earthly realm, yearning for a friend to play with for eternity. Terry was fascinated by this tale and couldn't resist the temptation to investigate. He decided that he would befriend the Willowbrook child ghost. Armed with a small flashlight and his childhood courage, he ventured into the shadowy corridors of the ancient cottage. As he explored the house, Terry couldn't help but feel the heavy weight of history pressing upon him. The floorboards groaned beneath his feet, and cobwebs danced in the dim light. Every sound, from the rustling of leaves outside to the occasional drip of water, seemed amplified in the silence of the cottage. As he explored the house, Terry couldn't help but feel the heavy weight of history pressing upon him. The floorboards groaned beneath his feet, and cobwebs danced in the dim light. Every sound, from the rustling of leaves outside to the occasional drip of water, seemed amplified in the silence of the cottage. Then, just as he reached the attic, he heard a faint, melancholic voice. "Who's there?" it whispered. Terry's heart raced as he shone his flashlight in the direction of the voice. In the corner of the attic, he saw a faint, translucent figure. It was a boy, no older than Terry, dressed in clothes that looked as if they were from a bygone era. The ghostly figure had a wistful expression. Terry introduced himself and, to his surprise, the ghostly boy, Samuel, began to speak more openly. They talked about the past, the cottage, and the town of Willowbrook. Terry learned that Samuel had died of an illness as a child and had never been able to leave the cottage since. As the night wore on, Terry and Samuel became fast friends. They played hide and seek in the attic, whispered secrets, and shared their dreams and fears. In this odd companionship, Terry discovered the story of the lonely child ghost was not one of horror, but of longing. Days turned into weeks, and the bond between Terry and Samuel grew stronger. The once eerie attic became a place of joy and laughter. Terry's grandmother noticed the change in her grandson and was delighted to see him so happy. Terry came to realize that not all ghosts were meant to be feared. Some, like Samuel, just needed a friend. The Willowbrook child ghost, who had once been lonely and trapped, had found solace in the company of a living child. The people of Willowbrook would often hear the sound of laughter echoing from the attic, even when no one was there. And they knew that the cottage had become a place where the past and the present coexisted, where the living and the departed could find friendship, and where a brave boy named Terry had given the Willowbrook child ghost a forever friend.